GGC Requiem. We're back here with some Legacy Elves. Looks like we're on the play this game, or this match rather. Game 1. For reference, again, Twitter handle down the bottom if you're into Twitter at all, if you do any of the tweetings. Feel free to follow me if that's something you're interested in. I do post polls sometimes to determine what deck I'm going to play from week to week. Legacy Elves was the deck chosen this week, so something if you're interested in that. We're going to keep here. Unfortunately, one of these cradles isn't something else. This is just something you have to deal with when you play Elves. Unfortunately, Cradle does not tap for mana unless you have creatures on board, and so we'll mulligan. This is keepable. I prefer not to have the Crater Hoof in hand, but who knows, sometimes it works out. Dryad Arbor. I'm going to put the Dryad Arbor on the bottom, and then we'll just lead off with Forest. Not that we don't like Dryad Arbor, but well, I suppose actually now that I think about that, that's probably a mistake. We probably could have just played the Dryad Arbor for a turn 2 creature. I mean, if we're looking to cast Craterhoof from hand, or ooh, Death and Taxes. Alright, I'm going to eat my words here, but I don't think I've ever lost to Death and Taxes in Legacy, at least like the mono white version. Elves just pairs up really well against it. So they are a deck that runs Wasteland, so we are just going to go for another green mana source here. And in this case, we actually are just going to go get the Dryad Arbor. We can actually generate quite a bit of mana next turn with the Dryad Arbor and the Quirion Ranger. Not necessarily enough to get Craterhoof, but at the very least we should have a good shot at Reclamation, saging something useful. Probably save that for next turn now. Yep, so they got the Jite, which absolutely they have to do here. Glimpse of Nature. Really no point in doing, unfortunately, anything with that here. I suppose we could cast Glimpse of Nature. Green Sun Zenith for Wirewood Symbiote. Recast Nettle Sentinel. But we're not going to chain anything at that point. I mean, I suppose there's a really slim chance. I think we just need to hold this Green Sun Zenith for the Jite that's coming down next turn. Yeah, I don't think there's a whole lot we can do here. Just kind of a bad draw. So the Arid Mesa scares me. It looks like we may be looking at a Blood Moon version, probably running some Chalices as well. Alright, so the opponent wisely did not play the Jite on our turn, so now we're just kind of hoping to get a glimpse chain started here. I think at this point we just kind of have to go for a visionary. I think maybe I did make a mistake not attacking earlier. I was thinking the Mother Runes can just set the Stoneforge Mystic or give it protection, and it probably would have, but really our only real shot here is, I guess, hitting a Heritage Druid, which would allow us to Green Sun Zenith into a Wirewood Symbiote with a decent glimpse possibility, or chance of chaining off glimpse. Natural Order would have been great this turn, not so great now. I guess before this turn, I mean. Just trying to think, if we can get to Heritage Druid, can we tap for 2, cast the Green Sun Zenith, get the Heritage Druid. We could tap for 3, we've already used our Quirion Ranger. We're just kind of bone dead. If we get another Quirion Ranger, we're still just going to net 1 mana. But if we go get a Dryad Arbor, I'm just trying to think through what our best options are for natural ordering next turn. Assume our opponent attacks us, does enough damage, kills 2 of our creatures. If it kills the Dryad Arbor, we have 3 mana still. I think we just need to go get a Deathrite Shaman here. It gives us the best shot at natural ordering next turn to get out of the mess we're about to be in. If he spends all of his GT counters killing the Deathrite Shaman, we still can produce 4 mana next turn. And if he kills the Dryad Arbor and, say, Quirion Ranger, well, then we can't produce 4 mana next turn. Looks like he has swords and he's thinking about how to use that. Deathrite Shaman, I think, is the clear answer here. Then he can clear the way of the Quirion Ranger and the Dryad Arbor, and I'm pretty much dead in the water at that point. Kind of okay with that. Now we're still just like I mean, we're like a Gaia's Cradle away right now. so Dryad Arbor's definitely dying. And then looks like maybe a Phyrexian Revoker. Yeah, Deathrite Shaman. So we're done. This game's over. I shouldn't say it's over, but we're pretty hard up here. Short of a Gaia's Cradle, we're pretty much done. I mean, I suppose we can make a play for it. I do wonder if I maybe made a mistake by not going for Birchlore Rangers the previous turn. I'm afraid I'll never know. Penlaven's close. Unfortunately, it's almost like we're just going to be one creature too short the rest of the game. At least we get to make him burn a GT counter. If he wants to kill one of the Deathrite Shaman, or yeah, so that's fine. We're getting closer. Fortunately, we don't have anything we can block and bounce with. That'd have been pretty good. So Quirion Ranger and Visionary are going to go bye-bye this turn. Yeah. If he doesn't go for the Visionary, that's a mistake. Unless he's going to play Prelate. Cunning Spark Mage. I got nothing here. Okay, we just can't attack into him with his Mother of Runes, give him protection. Again, he could have easily killed the Visionary earlier. I suppose it does make sense that he does want to protect against me getting another good creature out. Sure. Plinking away for one at a time. So the problem here is he's going to be able to kill the Sentinel and the Visionary. Oh my gosh. this literally could not be worse draws right now. Again, we could have used the natural order like the turn before we drew it, or if we had drawn it as the draw for that turn. These glimpses are completely dead. We have nothing we can do. It doesn't really do us any good to block either, in case you're thinking about that. I mean, he can just spend 1 to pump his creature +2/+2. Definitely from the little bit of play I've had against the red splashed version here. I feel like the red splash is better. The red splash opens up their ability to play Blood Moon, obviously sideboard cards, and then again I did play a version the other night, just kind of playing again. Where, yeah, there's nothing we can do here. We're just going to concede. I mean, like, yeah, we're just conceding. Alright, so we would have lost around turn, I don't know, 11 or so with the Flicker Wisp. Maybe 10, because he also could have just jitted us for a bunch of damage. Anywho, but I did play against a version like this the other day, and that version ran Chalice of the Void as well as the Blood Moons. So Jitte can be good against them. Abrupt Decays can be very good. Pithing Needle can be good. Quite a few things. Pithing Needle can name Mother of Runes or Jitte, both pretty important cards in the matchup. I do like Progenitus as well. I don't know that we need all of this, however. Really what we would just be looking to primarily take out is maybe a couple Heritage Druids and Nettle Sentinels, maybe? Reclamation Sage seems good. Scavenging Ooze is kind of unnecessary, so we could pull that. I don't know that I want to pull both Craterhoof, but if we're going to bring Progenitus in, we probably want to. I don't know that we need all the Abrupt Decays. Yeah, there's really no reason not to, I suppose. And then I think if we're going to do that, maybe we just take out a couple glimpses, or maybe a glimpse. Visionary, let's see how that looks. I can deal with that. Green Sun Zenith sat a little better in the curve. Yeah, I'm good with that. Maybe a little over sideboarded. I mean, we brought in 8 cards. It's a pretty good matchup. I don't know that you need to side this much. I like this hand. I'm going to keep. I think we probably go Forest into Zenith Dryad Arbor. Yeah. Don't think we're going to need black mana turn 2. And that should allow us to cast Quirion Ranger, Heritage Druid, Deathrite Shaman, and Pithing Needle next turn, and we actually can blow up the Aether Vial. I think we can actually do the entire hand next turn. And with the second Abrupt Decay, no real reason not to. I guess we can Abrupt Decay because we won't have access to black mana yet. We could also just Pithing Needle the Aether Vial, holding up the Abrupt Decays for later, which I am also quite okay with. Aether Vial's an easy call here because it produces such a mana advantage. If he goes to Wasteland the Dryad Arbor, we can just bounce it. The question here is, what do we think he's going to name? So if he names Heritage Druid, I guess it doesn't really matter. If he names Quirion Ranger, we just can't protect Dryad Arbor the next turn, but I definitely would rather have the mana this turn than protect it. Yeah, that's fine. Alright, what can we do here? I think we just hold this as is, because we can use the Abrupt Decay if he Wastelands our Dryad Arbor next turn. On the Phyrexian Revoker, which we don't need to, just would help for the following turns. We can't... Yeah, I mean, we can't really... Suppose we could bounce the Visionary, untapping the Dryad Arbor to play the Visionary again, which actually seems decent if we could draw into another land, so let's actually do that. Nothing we're really willing to trade as of yet. Again, he can't use his Aether Vial. It's fine. And we can attack for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. Or we can just eat Deathrite Shaman and hold the Abrupt Decay for later. I think we kind of just want to get some damage in. So before blocks, we'll be able to kill this as well. Oh no, we won't. Shucks. Made a mistake there. We didn't play the Wirewood Symbiote out yet. That's fine, but I think I already played my land for the turn, so... I think we just gotta run this symbiote out. Taking too much time to play here. Gonna need to pick up the pace a little bit. Green Sun Zenith. What can we do with Zenith? So this is if a non-token creature would enter the battlefield and it wasn't cast, exile it instead. We're definitely not putting tokens into the battlefield. So I think man, I just don't know that we want to spend the Bayou on this. So he's going to go for another one. This time we should be able to do what we were trying to do last time. We still can protect the Dryad Arbor. Probably Flicker and Wasteland there. Don't see a whole lot of other value for him. Wasteland allows him sure. Suppose I could have eaten his Containment Priest, and now I can't do that. Oh, so that's a combo I've not seen before. So since the Deathrite Shaman entered the battlefield without being cast, it was exiled. Very clever. So let's see, we're going to tap this for green again. Fortunately, we're kind of stuck sitting on this Green Sun Zenith. Cunning Spark Mage is going to do some work. Turn the Dryad Arbor. Can't have him wastelanding it. I think we're going to lose here. But again, I do think this version is a little bit better against Elves. Cradle, not too shabby. So I almost... Oh yeah, man, we are just hosed now. So this Cunning Spark Mage is going to pick us off one at a time. We're not going to be able to build up enough mana to do Cradle. And Containment Priest has us. Still think we were right with the Pithing Needle. I think we maybe just didn't need to waste on the Phyrexian Revoker. The first Abrupt Decay and Phyrexian Revoker was unnecessary. We could have just held back a little bit longer. The 2 Containment Priests. Oh, geez. So we're learning all sorts of things today. Never, never played a Dryad Arbor against Containment Priest, but because it is a creature as well as a land, it entered the battlefield and wasn't cast. Exile it instead. These are hard lessons we're getting right now. As it is, we already know we're going to lose, so let's learn as much as we can in the loss. Sorry, I'm just messaging my opponent here. Rishadon Port, sure, tap my lands down. Okay, so... we can't really do anything here. I mean, we're again still just kind of hosed. Cast it. So we're going to get rocked out of the ballpark here. Taking way too long to play the deck. Gotta imagine he's going to kill us. The Spark. Yeah, here we go. Sure. What am I going to do? Not a darn thing. Ooh, more Cradles. Excellent. Well, we are just going to say goodnight to our opponent, congratulate them on a well-earned victory. So that'll end up finishing us at 2-3. Pretty excited to get the gamut of matches that we had. I think we ended up playing, sorry, I'm losing my train of thought here. So I ended up playing Big Red, Elves, Storm, or Ant, A-N-T, Black Red Reanimator, Death and Taxes. Pretty good mix of decks. Pretty excited about that. I had a buddy who was telling me he thought Elves was going to be one of like the clear top decks. I wasn't so confident because I feel like Storm and Reanimator kind of preys on Elves, and I thought we'd see some increase on that. I shouldn't say Storm preys on Elves, but Storm's pretty good against Elves. And a lot of the decks are going to assume that Storm and Elves are going to be good, and so there'll be a lot of like Chalice type decks. And so definitely seeing some of that. Still, I think there's a bit of rust on my side to shake off. Hopefully it was still enjoyable for you to watch. Hopefully you learn lessons on things you didn't know what to do, and hopefully learn some lessons like me on things not to do, like run face first into Containment Priest, which I completely forgot about, and then two, playing Dryad Arbor into a Containment Priest, which will get you exiled. So again, hopefully you enjoy next week. We'll probably be back on to Modern, though we'll see. I may play a little more Legacy. It's a fun format, but maybe we'll do another poll and see what people are most interested in. Have a good night.